All right, so buckle up, because today we are taking a deep dive into a classic, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Ah, yes. A book that definitely needs a deep dive.
It really does. Published back in 1937. And this book, it claims to hold the secrets to achieving, well, not just wealth, but personal success, too. Hill, he interviewed over 500 successful people to write this thing. Names like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford.
Now that's impressive.
Right. Talk about an all-star lineup. So we are going to unpack those core principles he lays out. And more importantly, we want to help you guys listening to actually apply them in your own lives. Make it real.
And this book is considered a classic for a reason, but man, is it dense. It's like a jungle of anecdotes in there. Easy to get lost and miss the real gems.
Well, yeah.
My goal is to help you sift through all that and connect it to the bigger picture.
Okay. So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Hill starts off strong, right out of the gate, with the concept of desire.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just say, like, wish for things and they'll happen. He's got a very specific method here.
Right. It's not just about wanting something, right? It's about cultivating this burning desire, the kind that fuels your actions. In fact, Hill recommends, and this is interesting, that you write down your financial goal with a clear time frame and a detailed plan for achieving it.
All right, I like it.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. He says to read this statement twice daily.
Whoa.
Every morning and night.
So it's like you got to convince yourself of this goal, almost like making your brain believe it's already happening. Is that what he's getting at?
Exactly. Hill, he was way ahead of his time when it came to understanding the power of self-suggestion.
Yeah.
By repeatedly focusing on your goal, you're essentially programming your subconscious mind to seek it out, to notice opportunities that you might otherwise miss.
So it's not just wishful thinking. It's about priming your brain for action. This makes me think about those vision board trends.
Yeah.
Maybe Hill was onto something way back then.
Totally.
Okay, so we've got the desire piece down. What's the next ingredient in Hill's recipe for success?
Faith. Now, before you think this is all about religion, Hill defines faith as an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve your goal.
Okay.
It's about visualizing your success so vividly that it feels inevitable, almost like it's already happened.
He's talking about that unshakable confidence, right? The kind that makes you go for things even when other people might doubt you.
Precisely. Hill was a big believer in affirmations and visualization. Think about athletes who visualize themselves winning a race. They're using this principle, right, to create this mental blueprint for success. While you're listening, why not give it a try? Visualize yourself achieving that goal you just wrote down.
That's a great idea.
Really feel those emotions that come with it.
I love that we're getting practical here.
Gotta make it real.
So we've got burning desire as fuel, faith is the bridge. What comes next?
Knowledge. But here's the catch. Hill, he's not talking about general knowledge here. He's emphasizing specialized knowledge in your chosen field. So think about like becoming an expert in a very specific niche.
So not just knowing a little bit about everything, but mastering something very particular.
Exactly. In today's world, think about the rise of online courses, right? Micro-credentials. People are building successful careers by becoming the go-to expert in a narrow field. Like that old saying, the riches are in the niches. Hill knew this back in the 1930s.
Makes you think. Are some people spreading themselves too thin? Maybe focusing on that one key skill set? Maybe that's the way to go.
Something to think about for sure.
Now, this next one seems a bit more abstract imagination. Hill talks about the power of imagination.
Yeah, and he differentiates between two types of imagination. You've got synthetic imagination, which involves rearranging existing ideas, right?
Okay.
And then there's creative imagination, which brings forth entirely new ones.
So synthetic is like remixing a hit song, and creative is composing a whole new symphony.
Perfect analogy. And Hill, he argues that both are essential for success. You need the ability to take what's already out there and make it better, right? But you also need that spark of originality. You need that to really break new ground.
This makes me think of those, like, life hack videos online.
Yeah.
Some are just clever adaptations, right, of existing things. And then others are like, whoa, groundbreaking solutions.
Great example. And I bet Hill would say both have their place in achieving success. Now, here's the thing. While he emphasizes those big dreams, those bold ideas, he wasn't all about just thinking and wishing. Hill was very practical about planning.
He even dedicated a whole chapter to it.
He did.
It's not enough to just have the vision. You need a roadmap to get there.
You need a plan. Absolutely. Hill stressed the importance of breaking down those big goals of yours into smaller, more actionable steps. Think of it like planning a cross-country road trip. right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't just jump in the car and start driving. You'd map out your route, plan your stops, and be prepared for detours along the way.
Yeah, yeah. And even the best laid plans, they need adjustments sometimes, right? Like what if you hit a roadblock or discover a scenic route you hadn't even considered?
Exactly. Hill wasn't advocating for rigid adherence to the plan. He understood that flexibility and adaptability, those are key. The plan is a guide, not a set of shackles.
Right.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. Hill believed that to achieve those truly great things, well, you need more than just your own individual effort. And he introduced this concept, this idea of a mastermind group.
Okay, I love this. The mastermind effect.
Yeah.
This is where things get really exciting.
What is exciting?
What exactly did he mean by that?
So he described it as a group of like-minded, ambitious individuals, right, who come together to support each other's growth. It's about combining your collective knowledge, experience, your resources to achieve a shared vision.
Yeah,
Imagine the synergy, right? When you have a group of people dedicated to helping each other succeed.
it's like having your own personal board of advisors,
Okay.
but they're also your biggest cheerleaders.
Exactly. Think about how much more you can accomplish when you're surrounded by people who believe in you, who challenge you, but also hold you accountable. This concept is so powerful that even today, lots of successful entrepreneurs, business leaders, they swear by mastermind groups.
Makes you wonder if sometimes we're too focused on going it alone. Maybe we need to embrace the power of collaboration more.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we've covered desire, faith, specialized knowledge, imagination, planning, and the mastermind principle. What's the final piece of Hill's success puzzle?
It might sound simple, but it's where most people, they stumble persistence. Hill believed that most people just give up too soon, when they encounter obstacles. They lack the grit to push through the challenges.
It's like that saying, most people are about to succeed when they give up.
That's it.
So how do we cultivate that never give up attitude? How do we develop that mental toughness?
That's a great question, and one that we'll delve into further in the next part of our depth dive. Building on that idea of persistence, one thing that always fascinates me about Think and Grow Rich is how Hill ties it to the power of the subconscious mind. He believed it plays a huge role in whether we succeed or not.
Oh, this is where it gets deep, right?
Yeah.
Subconscious mind. It's this mysterious force that we don't fully understand. But Hill believed it was like this key to unlocking our potential.
Exactly. And Hill didn't just see it as this passive part of our minds either. He believed we could actively, shape and influence our subconscious thoughts.
That's okay.
And in doing so, shape our reality.
So it's not just about positive thinking on a surface level. It's about programming our subconscious mind to work for us, to help us achieve our goals.
That's the idea. It's like giving your subconscious mind a blueprint, and it starts working behind the scenes to bring it to life. He even went so far as to say the subconscious mind is a bridge, right, between our conscious thoughts and what he called infinite intelligence.
Okay, hold on. Infinite intelligence. Now, I'm no philosopher, but that sounds pretty heavy. What exactly did he mean by that?
So Hill, he believed in this universal wisdom, this source of creativity and knowledge that we can all tap into. And he saw the subconscious mind as the key to accessing it. He argued that by feeding our subconscious positive thoughts, affirmations, and those visualizations we talked about earlier, we align ourselves with this infinite intelligence.
So it's not just about thinking happy thoughts. It's about tapping into a deeper well of knowledge and inspiration. That's a pretty radical concept.
It is, but it's also empowering, don't you think? To believe that we have this incredible potential within us just waiting to be unlocked.
Yeah.
And this brings us back to persistence. If we're not persistent in cultivating those positive thoughts and beliefs, if we let doubt and fear creep in, then we're essentially blocking that connection to infinite intelligence.
It's almost like we're sending mixed signals, right? We tell ourselves we want to achieve something, but then our subconscious is filled with all this doubt and fear.
Exactly. Hill argued that our subconscious mind, it doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experiences. So if we're constantly replaying negative thoughts or visualizing failure, our subconscious takes that as a command and it starts working against us. He compared it to a broadcasting and receiving station for thought.
So just like a radio can tune into different stations,
Yeah.
our brains can tune into different frequencies of thought.
That's right. And just like we need to be selective about the music we listen to or the news we consume, we need to be equally discerning about the thoughts we allow into our minds.
Okay, it's starting to see how this all ties together. We need to be mindful of the stations we're tuned into. If we're constantly bombarded with negativity, that's going to affect our subconscious mind, and ultimately our reality.
Exactly. Hill was adamant that we have the power to choose our thoughts.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we choose our destiny. And this leads us to another fascinating concept he introduced, the sixth sense.
Okay, now we're getting into the really mysterious stuff. What exactly did Hill mean by sixth sense? Was he talking about, like, psychic abilities or something?
Not quite. He described it as an intuitive knowing, a gut feeling that can guide us in making decisions and navigating life's challenges. Think of it as that inner voice that whispers wisdom and guidance when we're faced with important choices.
So it's like that feeling you get when you meet someone new and something just feels off, or you get a sudden urge to take a different route home and end up avoiding a traffic jam.
Perfect examples. And it's not always about those dramatic events either. It's often those subtle nudges that, if we pay attention to them, can lead us in the right direction.
But how do we develop this sixth sense? Is it something we're born with, or can we cultivate it?
Hill believed that it's something we can cultivate through practice, through self-awareness, and through alignment with our goals. The more we pay attention to our intuition, the more we trust those gut feelings, the stronger that sixth sense becomes.
So it's not about throwing logic and reason out the window, but rather it's about balancing it with that inner wisdom.
Exactly. And here's the key point that Hill emphasizes throughout the book. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful. What we believe, what we focus on, the stories we tell ourselves, all of this shapes our reality.
This is where the book's title really comes to life, right? Think and Grow Rich.
Hmm.
It's not just about material wealth. It's about understanding the power of our minds to create the lives we want.
That's exactly it. Hill believed that by mastering our thoughts, cultivating a positive mindset, and aligning our subconscious mind with our goals, we can achieve anything we set our minds to. He really was a pioneer in understanding that mind-body connection and the power of positive psychology.
This is so empowering. It's like Hill is handing us the keys to our own destinies and saying you have the power within you to create the life you desire.
And that's a message that transcends time. It's as relevant today as it was back in 1937. But with all this talk about the power of thought, I'm curious, what about action? Hill wasn't just advocating for sitting around and thinking positive thoughts all day, was he?
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. Okay, we're back, and I gotta say, I'm still kind of reeling from that infinite intelligence talk. It's like Hill is saying we've all got this untapped potential, right? Just waiting to be activated.
It is a powerful concept.
It is, but it also makes me think, okay, great ideas, but how do we actually make it happen? What about actually doing something?
You've hit on a crucial point. Hill wasn't all about just visualizing success. He believed that thought without action, well, it's like a car without an engine.
Oh, I like that.
It might look good, but it's not going to get you anywhere.
Right. It's like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You can dream all you want, but eventually you got to put your foot on the gas.
Exactly. And Hill, he gives us a really clear framework for taking action. Remember those detailed plans he encouraged us to write down? That's where the rubber meets the road.
Right, those step-by-step roadmaps for achieving our goals.
Right.
But even with a plan, taking that first step can feel so overwhelming sometimes.
They can.
What did Hill say about overcoming that inertia?
He emphasized the importance of building momentum. Think of it like, pushing a heavy object. It takes a lot of effort to get it moving at first, but once it gains momentum, it's much easier to keep it going. Hill believed that the same principle applies to achieving our goals.
So the key is to just start, even if it's with a small step. Like instead of trying to write a whole book, just focus on writing one page a day.
Exactly. Each small action builds on the one before it. It creates this chain reaction that propels you forward.
Okay.
And as you start to see progress, even if it's small, it fuels your motivation, reinforces that belief that, hey, I can do this.
That makes a lot of sense. Success isn't just about those grand gestures. It's about that day-to-day consistency, building momentum over time.
Absolutely. And even with all this talk about action and momentum, Hill never loses sight of the importance of the inner game. He understood that our mindset is essential for success.
He always brings us back to that, right? That our thoughts shape our reality.
Always.
That we need to cultivate that positive mental attitude, believe in ourselves.
It's the foundation. He even dedicated a whole chapter, remember, to the power of autosuggestion, using affirmations, positive self-talk, to actually reprogram our subconscious minds.
It's like he's saying you got to be your own biggest cheerleader. You don't believe in yourself, who will?
That's it. And it leads to this, I think, crucial question that Hill poses to his readers. If you truly believed you could achieve anything, what would you go for? What big, audacious dream would you dare to pursue?
Whoa, that is a powerful question.
It is.
Really challenges us to think bigger, right?
Yeah.
Beyond our perceived limitations. To embrace all those possibilities that exist when we truly harness the power of our minds.
And here's the exciting part. Hill truly believed that the potential for greatness, it resides within each of us. We all have unique talents, skills, experiences. When those are combined with the right mindset and that persistent spirit, well, it can lead to extraordinary
I
achievements.
love that. It makes you want to go out there and conquer the world, you know?
It should, because that's what Think and Grow Rich really boils down to, a call to action. It's an invitation to tap into our full potential, to create the lives we truly desire.
So to all our listeners out there, if there's one message to take away from our deep dive, it's this. Believe in yourself, set those audacious goals, and never give up on your dreams. The power to create the life you want, it lies within you.
And remember, the journey to success, it's rarely a straight line. There will be challenges and setbacks, moments of doubt.
Oh, for sure.
But as Hill reminds us, and this is so good, every adversity, every failure, every heartache, it carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit.
That is a great quote. It's a powerful reminder to embrace the journey, right? The ups and the downs, knowing that each experience, good or bad, holds valuable lessons that can help propel us forward.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. We hope you've enjoyed exploring Napoleon Hill's wisdom with us. Until next time, keep thinking big, keep taking action, and keep growing.